The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey was released in 2012 and was directed by Peter Jackson. It tells the story of Bilbo, who is enjoying his nice simple life, and then he's recruited by Gandalf and they go off on a journey to reclaim their home. So we are back to watching the Lord of the Rings movies, and now we are on the Hobbit Trilogy, the prequel. So I watched this film last night and I thought it was very good actually. I thought it was a very solid movie. Not as good as Fellowship of the Ring or the other two Lord of the Rings movies, but definitely a good movie. It's a very solid film. The story was interesting. It's very much about the journey, and we're following the characters go on this journey. And while it is engaging, it's quite compelling, it's fascinating and interesting, my only issue is the pacing. The movie really did drag in a few areas. And there was a lot of moments that were very slow, and there wasn't that much action until the second half of the movie. I'm not saying it was a bad thing to not have action. I just think the movie's pacing could have speed up a little bit. The movie's on for 2 hours and 49 minutes, I think. I think we could have maybe cut it down to maybe 2.5 hours. I just think there were a few scenes that were just very slow and really did drag. But nonetheless, it's a very solid written story. The humour is pretty good. It's actually more comedic than the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which I was quite surprised about. But the movie's humour is pretty decent. The action is absolutely phenomenal. The fight choreography is amazing. And the visuals just look stunning. The shots of the mountains just look amazing to look at. Visually, the movie just looks fantastic. It's a great movie to look at. And the movie's characters were pretty decent. Bilbo is a pretty good protagonist. While not as good as Frodo in the original trilogy, he's still a likeable and solid character who has an interesting journey throughout the story of the movie. Gandalf is great in this, and I like seeing how his journey started off before the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and while he is kinda the same as he is in those movies, he's still a great character regardless. The other characters were pretty good too, and were very entertaining throughout the journey of the story, but the villains I found to be quite lackluster. They were good in the climax, but I just feel they lack a lot of character development. So the film had a pretty decent gang of characters, and the music was absolutely incredible. I loved the music of the movie. It really suits the tone of the movie, the scenes, which were the more visual driven scenes, the music that plays over those scenes was just, oh my god, amazing. So I have to give a huge praise to the soundtrack. It's incredible. So I have to say, so far, I think this is a very good start to the Hobbit trilogy. Overall, Unexpected Journey is not as good as Fellowship of the Ring and does suffer some pacing issues, but it's got a solid story, great action, decent characters and some absolutely phenomenal music. I'm going to give The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey an 8 out of 10. So yes, that's it for my review for The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. Stay tuned for my next review, which is going to be on The Hobbit: Desolation of Smaug. Stay tuned for that. And until then, guys, take care, everyone. Thank you for watching, and skidoosh.